A call to action in combating climate change as it continues to have far-reaching consequences all over the world. Delegates had an opportunity to focus on an array of issues, including the Climate Fund. The United Kingdom, one of the partners of South Africa's Just Energy Transition Program, says that this is a critical time.
We are all dealing as a planet with the impact of climate change and the awful sort of climate events, whether it's flooding in the Cape or indeed wildfires in KwaZulu-Natal. You know, we are all living with this. But at the same time, as the President has said many times, and as we have committed to as well, we have to address climate at the same time as addressing energy security and at the same time as addressing job creation. I think all those three run through the core of the just energy transition. And we as the UK, along with our partners France, Germany, the EU, US, Denmark and the Netherlands, as part of the Just Energy Transition Partnership, are absolutely 100% committed to working with South Africa to deliver this together here in South Africa and to work on these issues together around the world.
Phillipson says consultations are vital with communities.
It is not sustainable for us to live in a fossil fuel world. That is not unique to South Africa. It is not unique to the United Kingdom. There is an opportunity to move to a decarbonised economy, to a green economy that will create jobs, will also create better conditions for people on the public health side, as you say. But the key thing is that we have to do it together. It has to be a transition, and above all, it has to be just. So we have to make sure that no one is left behind. We have to do the right community engagement to explain why these things are necessary.
Financial institutions like the African Development Bank Group says Africa cannot afford to turn a blind eye on climate funding and the private sector must come on board.
There is a greater need for us to be Paris aligned in terms of the work that we do, which means that really quite a significant number of projects that we do. In fact, in the next 2 years or so, we'll basically have to do a scorecard that says, before we look at a project, is it Paris aligned or not? So I think that's where things are going. So there is really greater need to ensure that, as we develop projects, the sustainability part of it is always looked at.
United Nations says it looks forward to South Africa during the G20 and hopes Pretoria will prioritize the fight against climate change.
It is important that we take note of the fact that investments in renewable energy are currently booming around the world, and therefore this makes economic logic. Over the last few years, onshore wind and solar are now the most cheapest sources of new electricity in most parts of the world. So we have an opportunity to embrace, but to look at the value chain and ensuring that all stakeholders across the value chain enjoy this opportunity. So the question remains, are we moving in the right direction and fast enough? Is the progress we're doing collaborative, ambitious, just and inclusive? So you can certainly count on the United Nations to be part of this process and to play its part.
Khumalo, SABC News, Pretoria.